Hello there, Aquarius, and welcome to your October reading. I hope that your month is getting off to a really great start. Good to see you again, by the way. Just a quick note that you can always use these for your sun, your rising, and for your moon sign. If you don't know all of those, that's okay. Just stick with the sign that you were born under. Now, I want to start this reading with a quick announcement, and then we'll get into the regular sort of format. The announcement is a bit of a thank you as well. I'm getting very close to a milestone here on the channel. With your help and support, I've nearly achieved 100,000 subscribers, which for me is a very humbling experience. I really didn't know if that would ever happen, and I'm very honored to be close to that milestone. As a way of giving back to you, I will be doing a live feed or a live presentation about a week after that happens. So if you haven't already subscribed, this is a good time to do so that you'll be kept in the loop, and make sure you hit that little bell icon so you get indications of when I post new videos. So I'll definitely do a pre-announcement of that, and I might ask for some feedback on what you want to see. I'm thinking that I might ask you for some questions, which I can then be ready to answer, and then I might also do something else like a meditation or talk to you live too. So we'll see how that goes, but I just wanted to share that and say again, thank you in advance. Speaking of support, if you like what you see here each month and you would like to give a little bit back for what you're receiving, you're more than welcome to do so. There are two ways that you can do this. The first is through Patreon. I'm going to put some information here at the bottom of the video, and also you can just go right beneath the video itself and it'll be the second link. There's like 3 hyperlinks. So anyway, Patreon is a great way to do it. It's a way that you can just kind of say, I'll donate $1 a month and you don't have to worry about it. Or if you just want to do a one-time donation of $1, you can do that through my website. If you're not really feeling like you want to do that, but you want to support the channel, liking, sharing, and subscribing is a great way to keep it healthy and growing. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's get into the reason that you all came here, your information for the month. I organize this in 3 parts, as all of those of you that are returning know, but for the new folks, let me just walk through the format. I start off with channeled information, then I move on to a Celtic cross showing an overview, and then I expand the forecast, looking at other parts of your life like health, wealth, love, and destiny. So on to the channeled information, let's get straight into it. The way that I achieve this is I select a deck of cards, I meditate, and I see what comes through. Now, as I was doing that for your sign, I actually got this feeling of being like a little bit dizzy, almost like you're spinning around. And what I realized for you is that this is really a month of adjustment. And I wrote down, don't be afraid to turn things literally upside down. For some of you, this could mean that it's a time to try something new, a move, a new relationship, or a different way of living. Something that was working isn't working now. And it could actually be, for many of you, a little bit disorienting because, you know, we're all creatures of habit sometimes, but I feel like this month is challenging you in ways that you haven't been before, and some really cool opportunities could be awaiting you. But likewise, whenever change approaches, sometimes it's disconcerting or discombobulating, and so give yourself time to deal with some of the changes and don't feel like you have to make any sort of a jump too fast. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the cards and see what additional insights they have to what's going on this month, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more detail in that as well. All right, at this point I like to remain quiet and just really observe the energy, the cards, the placement. I'll rejoin you after I've had a chance to pull everything here, so bear with me. All right, in addition to everything that I've laid out in front of me, I also like to look at a catalyst card. For me, the catalyst is a way to connect to all of the energy, all the information, and see overarching themes that might be coming through for the month. For you, we have the anchor, and not too much of a surprise to me here. It came through in a reverse state, which is showing this feeling of not being as grounded as you have been, or feeling like things have been turned upside down, topsy-turvy, however you want to put it. And so what your primary focus should be, at least at the onset of this month, is finding a way to sort of get your solid ground, get your bearings again. Now, whenever you have a moment where it's almost like a tower moment with this anchor reversed, or something that's feeling like it needs to change, or it's changed maybe without you being ready, the first thing that you do is maybe feel a little uncomfortable, but then there can be this opportunity of, wow, I can actually change things up, I'm not stuck. So the cool part of this month for you is that it's a shift, it's a change, it's giving you a chance to kind of spread your wings a little bit. So I want you to think of it as both ways. Yes, you want to ground yourself, but before you kind of get settled into the same routine, think about opportunities. Think about where else you could be going and why the universe was bringing this into your life. There's always sort of a larger reason for that. By the way, if you hear the tiptoe of little feet, it's my dog. Sometimes people ask in the comments, so anyway, it's my dog. All right, let's now take a look at the center card. We have the King of Swords here in reverse. When I see the King of Swords in reverse, what it's really speaking to is a need to make sure that your voice is being heard. And for some of you, you may even have to be a little bit more outspoken or aggressive than you're used to. Direct communication, upfront communication. But you want to temper this so that you're not appearing like you're either argumentative or pushy. So make sure that your voice is heard, be consistent, be persistent, but also try to understand it from the other person's perspective. And what I've got on top of this is the Queen of Cups. So you do want to soften it a little bit. And one way that's really effective is to begin with a question about the other person. So even if this is something where you're doing I should say, especially if you're doing a conflict negotiation or if you're trying to sort of argue a point, you always want to start with understanding the other person and their point of view. So you could just check in and say, I want to talk to you, but first I wanted to see, how are you doing today? Is this a good time? There's a few questions that you can do to set up a successful conversation. That one that I just said is major. Is this a good time? If they say, you know what, could you come back in about 15 minutes or an hour? And then, yeah, that would be perfect. What you've done then is given them time to sort of collect their thoughts, prepare for the conversation, and they get a little bit of time to be ready. Sometimes you can also just see if there's something that's been going on. They could just say, I've had 5 different things that I've been trying to deal with today. I want to help you. How's tomorrow? Or, can we revisit this later? So just see if you can check in, show them you care, and then you can get into what's important for you. That's going to be really important. And also, if there's something tricky that you have to talk about, you could even kind of echo their point of view. Say, I know we've talked about this before, and you stated that this was your approach, but how about this, or have you considered this? So it's important to show that you listen, you care, and also giving them a chance to just be open to the conversation. All of these things will help you, but you can still have that sense of strength. So think about that. That came through as I was looking at it. As we look at Deep Past, what I like is it feels like a lot of you have been starting to assert your independence a little bit more, or feel a little bit more strength in character and strength in who you are. So the Empress card is one of control. And sometimes we don't have a choice, right? There's just challenges that are thrown our way, and we have to start to deal with things that are coming through. So for you, it looks like this is a month where a lot of things will fall on your plate, and you might be put in a position where you have to take more control than you're used to, but you're absolutely capable of doing that. Judging from the domestic animals on here, for some of you, this could have to do with issues at home more than issues at work. So looking at, parts of the house that might need upkeeping, or there might be some issues with if you have a landlord or you're renting, or maybe even a roommate. There's something going on in the environment that's going to require you to step in and kind of like clear it, clean it, or take ownership over it. So don't be afraid to do that. This can also be a proactive card. I was talking about maintenance. For those of you that are homeowners, you might want to look around and do some preventative maintenance as well. All right, so let's take a look now at what's affecting you as the month kicks off. We have, again, a sort of milder version of the center card here, the Queen of Swords in reverse. So for some of you, there's going to be a need for you to revisit conversations a few times. And so persistence and clarity are going to be essential. Communication is paramount. These cards are actually indicative of your sign. Whenever I see a Queen or a King of Swords, of course it makes sense because you're an air sign, but this has more to do with your communication styles because we keep getting a lot of the same suit. So just know that you're going to have to sometimes be like a broken record or state things in a different way to maybe get the desired effect. Now, your crowning card is the Queen of Wands, which is the best management card that you could get. So I feel very confident in your ability to be okay this month, to manage, basically. It's also a card of strong will and can be a card that shows stubbornness. But upright, it really isn't a stubborn card. It's just showing you that you have the ability to stick with something, to get people to see that, and to get them to respect you. Respect may be another thing that you're sort of feeling challenged to sort of receive from people. Remember, it's earned, and some people are just sometimes incapable of respecting other people. So if that's not happening for you, I feel like you might be surrounded by people that are either less experienced or younger or immature. You're just gonna have to do your best to lead by example. By the way, the positive aspects of the sun are as follows. First of all, your energy is really in a good space this month. Whatever happened last month, that's ancient history. This month, I see an ability for you to actually rally forces. The sun has been coming up in a lot of signs this month, so I feel like October is a very beneficial month for community, partnership, friendship, alliances if you needed some support in something that you're doing. So don't be afraid to create these friendships and alliances. Even if they don't exist already, you have a chance now to approach them or to deepen them if you have some friends that you just want to get to know a little bit better. This is also saying have fun, because the Sun card and the Fool card, they're two of the youngest or most sort of jovial and carefree cards in the deck. Six of Cups is another one, but there's a lot of fun energy here. So what's important for you this month is to not be as serious or as focused on all of those other things that we were talking about earlier. Yes, there may be some negotiations or communications that are required of you. There may even be some legal things that some of you are working through with the double swords there. And there may be some business aspects here, looking at your own business or just your own budget. But once you get through some of that, make time for fun. Take a drive, go to a movie, spend some time with a friend or around some wildlife or whatever. You need to get outside and just kind of shake things up a little bit. That's the other part of the me feeling everything moving around. I want you to, for those of you that are too stuck in your environment, this can be a different message for some of you. This is saying get out of a rut. This is a chance for you to try something new. If you're thinking of a ship here, whenever you pull the anchor up, it means you're going somewhere else. You don't have to stay put anymore. So there's a general nudge from the universe that no matter where you were, you're going to be going somewhere else in the future. When I'm looking at your ego this month, it's actually pretty solid here. We have the Ace of Pentacles, and this is showing that money should be substantial this month. You should have enough. You should be able to hold on to it. A general caution, maybe not to spend too much, because when I see this, sometimes it can be moving in one direction or the other. But I think that for those of you that are looking for new jobs or better money management, it does feel like it's a good month for that. Looking at your environment card, we have the Page of Cups. It's in reverse. I like this one because it's kind of about starting fresh, a nice clean slate or a fresh palette here. So what you want to do is this month, find something new to inspire you. The card is reversed, which shows that some of you may be feeling a little bit sad or a little down or not quite yourself. By engaging in some sort of fun or creative activity, it doesn't need to have any sort of practical application. In fact, it's better if it doesn't. I say that often, but it bears repetition. Do something just because. So some of you might be a crafty person and you want to make something. Some of you might, play an instrument or dance or just enjoy walking. I don't care what it is, but do something that's expressive of you, that brings you happiness, that somehow is constructive. Dancing is more constructive than walking. You need to be kind of creating something and evoking something and channeling something. So gardening would be a better example, because you could create something, or you can make a bouquet or something like that. So do something that requires a little bit of art, a little bit of expression, and then you have something left over after it that you can enjoy. As I'm looking at your overall finances this month, I actually am feeling a lot better as the month proceeds here. We have the Nine of Pentacles. So I see a sense of independence, of self-sustainability. I'm not that worried about you this month if you're not overreacting to things. It feels like you've got what it takes to get by. So just stick with your budget and be smart about purchases, and I feel like you're going to be okay. Some of you might get a new job and it looks like it would be better paying. There might also be a chance for promotion or recognition. What I mentioned earlier is that you might have to go about it in a few different ways because we have so many communication cards. All of them are reversed, which is about really being as direct as possible. But then I talked about other ways to soften that a little bit. So you're going to have to play around. There's some, for some of you, there's definitely an art to the negotiation that might have to take place. Your outcome card is fantastic. We have the Four of Wands. For many of you, it doesn't matter if you're young or if you're retired or if you're mid-career, mid-age, the Four of Wands shows the ability to make new friends and also to create a sense of stability. You'll see, usually there's four corners or four people. Sometimes you'll see a structure that looks like a gazebo. What I see when I look at the Four of Wands is something that's going to last. Wherever you're headed, whatever you're building, whatever you're approaching next, it's a lot more stable and it's a lot more kind of grounded than where you're at right now. So kind of enjoy this period where you're drifting through and exploring new things, and know that it's a necessary component to get to more solid ground, to get to something that feels a little bit better. So I feel like this is just part of the journey for you, but overall it's good. For those of you that are single and looking for love, I really like these two cards in the near future and the outcome. The Sun card comes through when you meet like someone that you kind of get awestruck by. They step into the room and they kind of light it up. It can indicate a soul connection, karmic connection, and the Four of Wands, deep friendship. Sometimes someone who's interested in a long-term relationship. The two of these together portend something good. But I will say, typically with the Sun, which is usually masculine energy or a little bit more upfront energy, it's younger. So for those of you that might be looking for someone that's the same age, this usually shows either someone that has a carefree attitude or is maybe slightly younger in age than you are. So be aware of that. One last note on relationships. I don't want to spend too much time because we're going to be looking at that in the expanded forecast, but I did get one more note. If you're in an existing relationships, I have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords here, both reversed. Communication this month could be tricky. And the connecting thread between those two cards is the Queen of Cups. We actually have a Queen of Wands and a Queen of Cups here. So what could happen this month for some of you is you may have more luck kind of hanging out in a it's almost like a double date with another married couple or a bigger group. This could be a great way to sort of get out of a rut that the two of you are in and maybe see different sides of each other. So don't be afraid to sort of do that. And that's really what the Four of Wands is here. It's a lot of close friends hanging out, having a good time. And the good thing when you're sort of with couples that understand your dynamics is you don't have to sort of put on a show. You can just relax, have fun. And I think that's the kind of outing that some of you need that are in a long-term partnership. Just so that you really don't want to work hard on your sort of free time or on the weekends. So find a way that you maybe can connect with people that are adventurous and maybe can bring out the best elements of you. So I see friendships helping you in your marriage in some ways because you're going to be able to see how other people interact. You can talk to a peer of that's also married and kind of get advice from them and kind of play off of that. So whether you're single or whether you're looking for love, a lot to look forward to this month. If you're retired or widowed, what I see for some of you is a desire to just spend some time on your own because it's really what the Nine of Pentacles is. And this is typically a very divine feminine card. So this is something where you want to nurture yourself, take care of yourself. You see her here with a bottle of wine and a book. That's sometimes the best company. So whatever it is that you want, there's a lot of energy this month that's supporting various forms of partnership. So the main thing that I'm seeing is sustainability after this period of unrest. So some of you, again, might decide to move, might decide to change your life, do something different, but then there's a sense of, all right, I made my decision, I can relax. Make sense? All right, let's look now at the expanded forecast. We'll begin now with the health card. For me, health always includes mind, body, and spirit. Let me turn the camera down so you can take a look at what's coming through, and we'll see what the message is. All right, so your card for health this month is despondence. And the interesting thing with this is it's encouraging you to sort of let go, to not let everything weigh upon you so heavily, to have a little bit more of a carefree attitude. This card's reversed, and you'll notice this kind of grumpy person here on the lower level here, and then this person that's kind of like, I can't control this. This is out of my realm of influence. So I want you to start to think of certain things in your life that have been thrown at you. You can't control what other people think. You can't always control some of the chaotic things around you, but what you can sort of put in your own management is how you react to them. So focus on how you're going to deal with the stimulus or stimuli around you. This is basically the definition of stress or non-stress. So if you decide, I'm going to take this and I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I'm not going to sit here and fret about what I might have changed to avoid it, then suddenly you're feeling the sense of power. If you're sitting and thinking in the past, if only I had done this, and you're sort of stuck in a moment, then this card and the definition of this card is kind of ringing true. So release it, don't get upset. Feel now that you are empowered to make better choices and new decisions based on the information, and then have that sense of freedom that woman in the card is showing, and think, I'm washing my hands, I'm washing my hair free of this, I'm not going to worry about this anymore. I am no longer going to be despondent or sad. I'm going to raise my spirits and go into a better place. And then what that's going to do is help you with your physical health. So lift your spirits, and then your body and your aura also will follow. Let's look now at wealth. Knowing that wealth isn't just money, but your fears and insecurities surrounding money, or also your confidence in what you're bringing in. So let's see what's happening with that. So for wealth this month, we have a card here that volunteered. It says 7th chakra, and for me, this is awareness. The more it's kind of like that old NBC thing, the more you know, but it really is, the more that you understand about your life, the more that you're going to be empowered and feel like there's no stress, there's no worry. And so this is a month of discovery. And also sort of like a eureka moment for some of you. Because of what we're seeing with that anchor, this moment in your life that's almost like a reverse tower, you may have to look at your money, your relationship with your money, and make new and hopefully better decisions with it. So this is a reset opportunity. Don't be afraid to try new things. Be open. And the 7th chakra, which is awareness, you're going to get an idea that maybe you haven't had before, and all of a sudden some of the stress goes away, or you have this sort of new insight that you didn't have before. Let's take a look at relationships here at love and see what's coming through. A reminder that this isn't always about being in love with someone. It's sort of how love is going to play out in your life this month. So we have grounding, go deep, explore your roots. This is really showing you that it's not so much about being with someone else, it's your relationship with yourself. And it's an echo of the card that I was kind of joking about here, the 9 of Pentacles. So it's almost an exact duplicate, actually. So for some of you, there might be this desire to learn a little bit more about yourself, about psychology, about what's going on. So it can come in introspective moments when you're meditating, it can come through reading, it can come through talking to other people. But by and large, having some time by yourself and decompressing and feeling better and getting back to that sense of what your energy feels like, it's really important. When I first started to wake up psychically, it was interesting because I didn't know the difference between others' energy and my energy. I felt everything at once. So the only way that I was able to start to figure it out was I had to cut myself off at the beginning and just be in a place of isolation. So I was like, okay, this is what my energy feels like. Then I would introduce elements, other people, or I would try going out in public, and then pretty soon I could figure out how to manage it and what certain things would feel like. So for some of you, you're not gonna go through that, because I sort of had an awakening where everything opened up at once. But for you, you might just need to get back to yourself and remember, this is who I am. This is what it feels like to just be me, especially if you were in a long-term relationship. Even if you've been out of that partnership for a few years, sometimes that that imprint that you have from your partner can still be there. So the work that you could be doing this month could be in releasing some of those connections. And even if you've moved on and you're already in another relationship, you still may need some personal time this month. And you might be still letting go of some of those old ties to family members, to parents, to ex-lovers. So whatever it is, give yourself some time for healing and for meditation and just for being with yourself. All right. So it's all about you. That's what I'm getting at. Love yourself, know yourself, and understand what it is that you need. And then you're going to be a better partner, a better friend, and you're going to be able to give people love unconditionally. As we look at your destiny card, we have Voice of Truth here with Joan of Arc. The interesting thing that with Joan is she was very clairaudient here. It says, stand strong, focus on your purpose, release the fear of prosecution, of course, or persecution rather, and speak your truth. So I mentioned earlier that it's of course going to be important for you to be outspoken. I would also say listen to your intuition and listen to what's coming through. Joan could hear and understand things on a higher level. And when I was looking at your finances, that's where the crown chakra was opening. So for those of you that kind of get whispers of knowledge or flashes of insight, really pay attention to those this month. However you receive intuition, you're going to get some clear signals on what to do with your money, okay? And also just in general with your life. So each intuitive receives information a little bit differently, sometimes dreams, sometimes visions, sometimes words, sometimes thoughts. Whatever it is for you, it looks like it'll come in strong this month, so don't discount it. Tune it in and write some of this down too, because when you get those downloads, you never know when they're coming back again, so it's important to honor them and integrate them. Let's go ahead now and really talk about everything one more time in a little bit more of a concise package, and then we'll wrap this up. As I mentioned, the theme of your month is adjustment followed by grounding. I said don't be afraid to turn things upside down when I was tuning in, but the more I looked at this, I also feel like there's a need to sort of be by yourself, ground, figure things out. That's the bigger sort of, secondary purpose of this month. As we look at your catalyst card, we have the anchor, and it's upside down. For me, that's just like the tower reverse. So there's some reorganization, some restructuring, some rethinking to be done this month. When we look at your center card, we have the king here, and we also have the queen. So for some of you, this is showing communication issues with a spouse or a partner. And it can also show just a need to continue to repeat a message. When I see the same suit repeated, it can be that. Try to have some fun this month. We have the Queen of Cups and the Sun card. Both are playful. We also have another Cups suit here. So a secondary message that it's really important to have ways to express yourself, to let out some of this pent-up energy. As I said, issues of needing to take ownership and control. Looks like you're well suited for it. A lot of repetition in these themes. So some of you may feel like you've been sort of living the same thing over and over again. I see it coming to completion though, and it does look like things are going to be working out in your favor or in a positive direction. Money seems like it's a core focus for you right now, and I feel like you're going to get to a place where you understand what's necessary, that you'll be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more able to relax towards the end of the month. Of course, with this, as I was saying, spend time by yourself. This isn't necessarily a month where you have to be with friends, although the energy is definitely there if you want to kind of like embrace it. But either way, there's no wrong way if you want to sort of just spend the time with you or with others. Maybe you can do a 50-50. But I think that personal time is really important because it came up twice as well. A lot of repetition of messages here. Your opportunity with health this month is to let go of this feeling of not having hope or being out of control. Focus instead on this woman that's just feeling like, whatever, I recognize what happened. I'm going to take ownership and control, but I can't change the past. I can only affect the future. And that's your power statement for this month. Listen to the universe when it comes to money. As we saw with the Joan of Arc card, you're going to receive it, and however you download information, again, it could just be a strong or persistent thought for some of you, but that's going to be powerful. One more time with love. It's about you this month. You have to have that good relationship with yourself in order to open that up for others. that brings this monthly reading to a close, and I have to say overall it's a pretty positive direction for you. It starts off where you're, I think, feeling the effects of last month or the period between my last reading and this reading. It feels like there's a lot that's happened for some of you. So honor that, work through the changes, and find places in your life where you can find stability. If it's not in your living situation, it might be in a person that you can trust or talk to. There's got to be something that can ground you. Once you find that, everything else starts to make sense, okay? If you ever want to talk a little bit more about something going on in your life, maybe it's a big life decision, a change, something that's making you feel uneasy or not anchored, I'm here to talk to you, and I'd be happy to do so. To reach out and schedule an appointment, just look below the video at the first link. You can check my rates and availability there and see if it makes sense for you. The second link is a great way for you to support the channel. I talked a little bit at the beginning, so I won't spend too much time here, but again, you can join me on Patreon or you can do a one-time donation. That second link will show you how to do both. On the third link, you'll see how to connect with me across all the different social media. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course I'm here on YouTube. But click that link and you'll be able to join all of those and keep in touch so that when things like that 100,000 followers video comes out, you'll know that it's here and you can join in on the live feed. Finally, and most importantly, I like to end every video, speaking of grounding, with sort of an overarching purpose of why did we all show up? I was gifted this crystal this week and I really love it actually. And I decided to use this as a symbol on these videos. What I like about crystals in general is they take time to form. They don't start off this clear. They start off a little bit murky. Through time, through a lot of heat and a lot of pressure, they start to get clear. As we show up each month, we sort of are like these crystals. We figure out different facets of our personality, different things that are going on in our metaphysical side, and we start to clear out. We start to get a little bit more understanding of what's coming. This doesn't happen overnight, but I want you to keep coming here each month and keep working on yourself each month so that eventually you'll be able to be crystal clear and then you can help other people in your life as well. And you don't have to be this clear right now to help. Just be there and be honest and share that unconditional love. And I think that that's all any of us can do in this human experience, really, right? So thank you so much for showing up, for working on yourself. I wish you much love, much light, and that sense of stability that I think a lot of you are looking for. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.